2, 1.
All right, back from Fall Carlisle. I only went one day. I probably only saw half of it. First hour was crazy, and then after that, it was pretty dead for me as far as finding good deals. Again, I'm really supposed to just get stuff for the 67, but the Suburban got some parts. So one thing I was really looking for is a manual rack and pinion. A Mustang 2 from the threaded part, 2.5 inches narrower, and it seems like from the pivot 2.5 inches narrower. Another super positive that I didn't know is the C4 rack, that was up in here. The ends are the same threads. I was really afraid that maybe the Corvette and the Mustangs would use different stuff, but that's cool. Paid $100 for it, which is nice because I think I can sell this for $100 and get my money back. Manual rack's what I wanted. I didn't want anything on the 292. So it looks new or very close to new. Big one that I got right off the bat. Well, actually, the one I wasn't even shopping for yet, but I saw it and I had to just give it a little look, is obviously this triple carb intake. Offenhauser. These are so expensive. If I was going to buy a new one, I think it's like $750 at least. This one has some damage that I'll show you, but the only other one that I saw at the swap meet was $500 and it didn't have damage, but still $500 for a used one. So if you didn't know, I have the 292 up here, and I really wanted a triple carb setup, and I was going to build one, but this guy, I was like, well, let me see what he says. And he was very motivated to sell, obviously, because it has damage. And I was like, all right, let's hear what he says. And he's like, $60, or I think he said $70. And I was like, I'll take it. The damage on this, as you can probably tell, this side, a broken tab. These do have some bolts that go in. So broken tab, bummer. Also, whatever this splatter that's all over the place is hideous. I don't know what happened there. The main damage, though, is up under here. So your exhaust would mount up here, and it can it'll heat up the bottom of your intake. Well, they have these ports over here, and obviously something happened. So I think what I'm gonna do is rip these plugs out, weld the plugs up, then maybe rip this whole section off and re-weld it in there, because I don't know what they try to fix it, or maybe the casting was horrible, but I think I'm gonna hit on it a little bit. If stuff starts breaking off, I'm gonna cut this whole chunk out and then weld it. But obviously it's got a little air gap in between so that coolant or heat can go in. So I still want that heat to get down there. Yeah, the next thing I bought is this heater setup. At least if one of the blower motors isn't working, I can switch it out, and then I'll sell, the one I don't use, but whatever. I think I spent $30 on that. Same guy had these wheels, and I'm like, all right, let me hear, what's the bolt pattern? Because I have these 15x6s in the front, and if I could find some 15x6, 7, 8 wide, something like that, I was going to buy them. I couldn't find anywhere. You would think you'd find that stuff all over the place, but you don't. And then he's like, well, and 4 3/4, the same is the Corvette front. It's also the same as maybe like a S10 rear. And I was like, well, it'd be nice if the bolt pattern all matched, and then I could just carry one spare. And the other nice thing is that I can get a spare tire from an S10 or something that's real thin, and I can actually fit it up under the truck somewhere. But if you can't tell, these are 15x10s. I was kind of debating if I was gonna go kind of a street rod, big wheel in the back. I always thought it looked cool, and I saw a Suburban right before I went to Carlisle that had a big giant tires in the back, and I was like, it does look pretty sick. Again, I'm like, all right, let's hear your price. He's probably gonna say $100 a rim or something, and he's like, $40 for the pair, because the chrome's not perfect, and obviously this chrome's not perfect. I kind of I'm fine with that. So I was like, God dang, all right, I'll take them. So those were my first 2-3 big buys, and then the rest was kind of not a dud, but I was kind of needed some small stuff. And then this rack and pinion was a big deal at the end, but I bought some cheap plug wires for the 6-cylinder. I bought some expensive plug wires for the 350, which sucks because I was trying to find V8 setup for the 350. I'm selling that. I'd rather buy the nice ones for the one I'm keeping. But whatever, these are nice, new in the bag. So plug wires for both. I got to build them to length, you know. Also, I got this really cool air cleaner. And I wasn't totally looking for the air cleaner, but now obviously I need 3 nice, cool matching ones. I never seen this one. It shows up as like a 40 Chevy. I really never seen it anywhere. And they're expensive like all the other ones. So I know the Iron Trap guys helped me identify it. I was thinking maybe it was a Ford or something weird I never seen, but it's obviously not a 216 like a pancake style, but they are priced about the same. And then I also bought from another guy this is like your mesh that goes in here. But this air cleaner is interesting because you changing that out, you'd have to like peel that whole outside ring. Maybe you can feed it through these holes and wrap it around. But I just think that thing's cool, and I really wish I could find 3. So if any of you guys have some of those for cheap, because I spent 20 on that one, and I would love to spend in that range for the other 2. I'll look at Hershey. Anyone, hit me up if you have one of those around $20 each. I just had to see what it looks like in there. I threw this rim on the back. Obviously, I'm going to have to tub the inside, but it's nice because it's not like a truck where you have like the inside of your bed. Like, if you didn't know, Suburban, I was going to cut it down. I'm kind of leaning towards not cutting it down just for all sorts of practical reasons. Middle seat like sits in front, so tubbing it isn't a big deal for me. I was debating on tires. I feel like some bigger tires makes more sense on this. So these are 28, you know, I made just a paper thing, 28. So these would be like 325 50s. Obviously massive, stupid for a 6-cylinder, but whatever. You know, the street rod look. Tell me what you guys think. Obviously, the wheel will be in more. The tire will look different because it won't be paper. That's kind of what I think it might end up looking like. Let me know what you guys think. 325 50s or 295 50s. I don't really want a small looking tire, but with these fenders and stuff, it kind of makes a little more sense. But I really think I'm going to go with these bigger, like 28-inch tires, just to have a little more meat on there. And I think I might even raise the back of the Suburban up a little, just so that it's not quite as squatted. Fall Carlisle, very dead. So many empty spots, it was crazy. And I know Spring Carlisle is busier, but man, it was a ghost town. And I heard a lot of vendors say people weren't buying, which is crazy, because this is the first time I actually brought like a good wad of cash to spend, and it felt way nicer to be able to just buy stuff and not stress the money as much. But obviously I'm still kind of thrifty.